You can't have it both ways in this situation. The fact that these documents have been provided to Congress, sections are entirely blacked out. They have to be maintained in a secure facility known as a SCIFT. This really undercuts the Clinton campaign's insistence to this day that the documents are overclassified and that this is about government systems run amok.
That is, I mean, would you not agree that in this city a lot of stuff gets classified that really shouldn't?
Well, I know from my own reporting that there was definitely intelligence about human sources in those emails. This is the kind of information that is among the government's most closely held secrets. And when you write about government sources or human sources in these types of emails, you really put lives on the line. And this is why, to this day, the material is blacked out. You can't have it both ways.
All right, there you have Greta Van Susteren from her show last night. Now, we still have so many questions regarding the Clinton. The fact that portions of the FBI investigation and investigative files are heavily redacted and must be held and read by lawmakers in a secure facility. By the way, when has this happened in the past? How many other times has this happened? Anyway, it just shows how classified the material remains despite claims made by the Clinton campaign. Now, why does Congress, and many of them have top secret clearance, why do they have to go to a special building? If, after all, you know, the deleted emails are about yoga and about a wedding and a funeral and emails to Bill Clinton, who doesn't email. Some 33,000 of them, which was the lie, one of many lies that Hillary told us. I only use one device. Yeah, she used multiple devices. I never sent or received classified materials. Yeah, she did. And repeatedly lies. The campaigns called to release the FBI agent's notes appear suspect because the material's too highly classified to be made public. Well, if it's highly classified, then that raises questions again about James Comey. Let's play some of Hillary and her lies on this very topic.
In a congressional hearing on July 7th, Director Comey directly contradicted what you had told the public.
I had not sent classified material nor received anything marked classified.
Secretary Clinton said she never sent or received any classified information over her private email. Was that true?
Our investigation found that there was classified information sent.
So it was not true.
Right.
That I am confident that I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. There were a small number of portion markings on, I think, 3 of the documents.
I never sent classified material on my email, and I never received any that was marked classified.
Secretary Clinton said, I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
Now, there was classified material emailed.
People across the government knew that I used one device. Maybe it was because I am not the most technically capable person and wanted to make it as easy as possible.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
But we turned over everything that was work-related, every single thing. Personal stuff, we did not. I had no obligation to do so and did not.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
All I can tell you is that when my attorneys conducted this exhaustive process, I did not participate.
Secretary Clinton said her lawyers read every one of the emails and were overly inclusive. Did her lawyers read the email content individually?
No.
He directly contradicted what...
Well,
let me just he not only directly contradicted what you said, he also said in that hearing that you were extremely careless and negligent.
Well, Chris, I looked at the whole transcript of everything that was said, and what I believe is, number one, I made a mistake not using 2 different email addresses. I have said that, and I repeat it again today. It is certainly not anything that I ever would do again. I take classification seriously. I relied on and had every reason to rely on the judgments of the professionals with whom I worked.
All right, joining us now to weigh in on that, we also have new information that is causing the Clintons a huge new controversy as it relates to all this. I'll tell you about it in a second. Her first time in studio Danielle Mclaughlin, attorney. She says she's a constitutional expert, although I disagree with her a lot.
Promise you I am, Sean.
Who co-wrote The Federalist Society, How Conservatives Took the Law Back from the Liberals, and Jay Sekulow is the chief counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice. All right, Danielle, my first question is a very simple one. What we just heard, was Hillary Clinton lying? Yes or no?
I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no, and this is why. Everybody has an opportunity to change a story.
By the way,
somehow...
everybody, turn around and look at my staff. They're all laughing. They're laughing.
She first said that she didn't receive anything that was classified.
She
altered that to not either marked classified, and that was borne out by what she said, both in the Benghazi testimony and what Comey said. That's absolutely the case. 3 portion markings of emails that weren't even classified.
So you are of the case that when she said she used one device, which was her excuse, and then Comey says she used multiple devices, did she lie to us to get away from this?
There's a difference between a lie and a misstatement. She used multiple devices over the course of her tenure as Secretary of State, but only one at a time. She only used one server.
I honestly believe, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but you're putting me in the position of being a little bit rude, and I don't want to be rude. But I think there are people like yourself that if I had a videotape of Hillary Clinton at point blank range shooting somebody in the head, and I said, did Hillary shoot that person? You'd say, well, not exactly.
I wouldn't say that. And, to see it is to admit that it's
This
true.
is a clear-cut lie. She purposely lied to the American people. And I think, if you can't see that, it tells me that your mind is clouded through a political prism. And that's, like, for example, I think Republicans in Washington are weak. They're timid. They're feckless. They're spineless. They're visionless. Okay? Now, I support them more than the Democrats. I'm more critical of them.
I think it's right to be critical of anybody in a position of power.
But you have to have your first adherence to any principle has to be the truth.
Right, but there's a difference between...
She lied.
There's a difference between truth and being wrong, or a misstatement, or the fact that you don't remember properly. And I think you're not cutting her enough slack. I think it's easy to attack her.
These weren't misstatements. Here's the question. Did you send or receive classified material on your email? No, I did not. I never sent or received classified email. Is that statement true or false? It's false. And James Comey said, no, she did receive classified information on email. By the way, only a small number of them were marked classified. But as you know, the legal definition for purposes of the State Department is you are obligated under the law to know if it is classified by the content of that material. And there was numerous material that was classified. We know it was significantly classified now, of course, because why? The FBI, when they send the notes over to the Congress, redact so much of it, not send them over, but allow them to be viewed, redact so much of it, you can't even make sense of it. Jason Chaffetz said even with his high level of clearance, he could not have direct access to this, so they redacted so much. If there was so much redacted, of course it was classified material. That's number one. Number two, on the multiple devices, she said she never used multiple devices. I never used multiple devices, she said. Answer, she used 4 multiple devices. So you're trying to spin this. I don't know why, Danielle, you're smart. Why would you spin this when you know, and everybody knows, and Hillary Clinton knows, and the Justice Department knows that she lied under oath? Now, do I think that the Justice Department's going to do anything? No, because I think they're institutionally incapable of pursuing justice on this at this point. But my goodness, to say that she didn't lie, well, yeah, go ahead. But to say it's a mistake, no, a mistake is I didn't capitalize a word in a sentence that should have been capitalized. That's a mistake. Okay, a mistake is not I left the word out.
Okay, I'm going to give you a response to that. So number one, she had 33,000 emails. You think it's possible she didn't remember 3 little C markings in the body of an email? Number
let me
one,
ask you, Danielle, do you think in those 33? Hold on, you think if it's 33,000 emails, you think maybe she was a Secretary of State? Some of those might be classified. I don't think they were all about yoga.
Let me finish. I want also for listeners to know that not all of the tape that was rolled at the beginning was her under oath. And so what we're talking about is, did she lie? Did she intentionally lie? Is it perjury? My response, looking at this as a lawyer, is no. I think she made misstatements about whether they were marked or they weren't marked. You can call it a lie. You can call it a misstatement.
Will you give me a legal definition of the term misstatement? What is a misstatement?
She said something and it turned out to be wrong.
Black's Law Dictionary. What is a misstatement?
I'm going to go back to my second point, Jay, which is these things that were said. Please let me finish my point.
What is a misstatement? What is, Danielle, a misstatement?
It's not
what is a misstatement?
So a lie is an intentional falsity, and a misstatement is an non-intentional falsity.
You think that's the legal definition?
Look, you go look at Black's. I'm going to talk about the sworn testimony. Number one, she said nothing was marked classified or received under oath. That was true. She said that her team did not read. She said her team went through every email. They looked at header information. They used keyword searching. That was the truth. Number 3, she said she only had one server at the time she was at the Department of State. That is absolutely true.
So you're conflating server and device.
She talked about a server. She never talked about an iPad, and she did have multiple devices. They were not used at the same time. Point number 4, she said she provided all.
You don't think she used the iPad? You don't think she used the iPad and her BlackBerry at the same time?
She was seen carrying them at the same time, with all due respect. All right, let me bring up something new here. Now, there is a possibility that the Clinton Foundation, they now hired a cyber firm after suspected hacking. Now, we also know that Hillary Clinton swore and promised that she would not be involved in the Clinton Foundation during her tenure as Secretary of State. That has been proven false and wrong, as multiple big donors had access to her that the rest of us would never have. This could be interesting. Also, there's a story out today that Clinton Foundation advised the World Bank on contracts that netted donors millions and millions of dollars. And there's one other story today. With her now behind on January 5th, 2009, Hillary signed an agreement promising to avoid any conflict of interest with the Clinton Foundation. She said, for the duration of my appointment as secretary, if I'm confirmed, I will not participate personally or substantively in any particular matter involving specific parties in which the Clinton Foundation or the Clinton Global Initiative is a party or represents a party. Now, last Tuesday, Judicial Watch released close to 300 emails, and those emails from the State Department show a conflict of interest created by Hillary's actions as Secretary of State and bringing people, for example, emails sent to Doug Band, who was with the Clinton Foundation, and he's formerly with President Clinton, that they were passed up to Hillary Clinton by Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills, and that it ended up in contracts ending up with big money for big Clinton Foundation donors. So she didn't live up to that promise, Jay, did she?
No, she did not. And that letter was on her United States Senate letterhead when she was in the confirmation process. Not only did she not live up to it, but now you have the subsequent reports of the land transactions where there was a land deal with a Nigerian firm that was a major donor of the Clinton Foundation. Bill Clinton went down, viewed the land property. The State Department was in negotiations to acquire it from this Clinton donor. And the negotiations started 20 days after Hillary Clinton left the State Department. So our friend James Rosen's reporting that. And the fact is that this is a pattern and practice of basically the State Department becoming an administrative arm of the Clinton Foundation. And that is the problem with the entire matter here. There is no wall of separation between the two. You have Cheryl Mills interviewing for staff positions at the Clinton Foundation while she was on the State Department. Some of these people being paid by both, including Huma Abedin. Who allows this? When I was a Treasury lawyer, they didn't let me work for the Treasury and a law firm. I mean, it's not the way it worked.
Your answer, Danielle?
No, I think that people need to look into these, and I think there are potentially problems here. I think that there was some conflation, potentially. I think you also have to understand how Hillary ran the Department of State. She was very big, and she actually started a new part of the agency relating to public-private partnerships. So reaching out to educational institutions, to universities, to businesses all around the world as an arm of the Department of State's soft power of their diplomacy. So inevitably, there may have been instances where there was some kind of crossover. The idea that it was an intentional is something, Jay, that you're saying, but there is no proof of it. You said yourself it was 20 days after she left office, which could also suggest that she was careful about it.
Now, Danielle, I mean, think about that, what you just said for a moment. 20 days after she leaves, do you think that this came out of nowhere? That it would just happenstance that the guy that owned this property that the State Department was looking to acquire just happened to be a major donor of the Clinton Foundation? I mean, the American people are not stupid, and we're not this stupid. And the Clintons think they can just do this, and evidently they can, because no one's going to hold them accountable. Maybe the ballot box in a couple months, but right now it looks like they get away with this. But every day it's something new, and I suspect there'll be more next week.
Well, we'll see about that. I can't comment to what's coming down the pike. We have no idea what's happening. But what I will say is that this public-private partnership was perfectly acceptable and perfectly legal, and frankly, she did an enormous amount of good.
Danielle, she lied. I'm just helping you out here, and you know what? You're digging your own grave every time you try and defend it and parse it and thread that needle and ride that razor's edge. You're dying. She lied, and you know she lied, and you need to just come to grips with the fact that the person that you want to be president is a pathological congenital liar.
Well, I could say the same thing about Donald Trump, frankly, Sean.
No, give me one example where he lied.
It's almost impossible to give you only
just one. I only want one.
Okay, let me think.
Here
we go. Value of his properties. On one hand, for taxes, his properties are worth $500,000. It's a specific golf course, in fact, but under federal election disclosures. Oh, I love the sound music, the background music. It's actually worth, $10 million. What is his net worth? I'm not really sure.
Well, we've never
how many
lied about
times
his
has he
net worth.
changed
And by the
positions
way, the
on a
property
board?
valuation-
We got to take a break.
Take a break.
Anyway, thank you both. When we come back, wide open telephones, 800-941-SEAN.